Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new, welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that sits perfectly for you. Today we want to talk about what's up for the week of the 23rd of September through the 29th of September 2024. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about astrology. We're going to talk about energy. We're going to pull little cards here. Let's go ahead and get in here. On Monday, the 23rd, the moon. We start out with the Gemini moon, right? So remember, we're in the middle of eclipse season here, and that's fun, right? We like it. We just had a nice Pisces full moon, so we start here with a Gemini full moon on Monday, the 23rd. That moon is going to square Saturn, conjunct Jupiter, and then sextile Chiron. So the week starts out with a very strong content warning. We've got a grand trine, Uranus, Pluto, and Mercury. So this combination can very easily lead to some explosive words, or let's phrase it like this: some destructive revelations. Okay, so the key to this is understanding what's coming up and through is probably as surprising to the person who is uttering the words as it is to you. And if it's surprising to you as well, and it's your revelation, that's okay. Try to breathe before speaking, right? Or responding in any sort of way. On Tuesday, the 24th, again, Gemini moon squaring Mercury and Neptune, quincunxing Pluto, and then the moon moves into Cancer in the late morning. Mercury in Virgo will trine Uranus, and then that Cancer moon is going to trine Venus and square the Sun, the Libra Sun, by the way. So we're still processing Monday's seismic communiques, right? So focus on staying open and receptive. That Cancer moon might have you tending to close the doors. Closing down, whether it's your ears or your heart, are only going to deepen those fissures and absolutely prevent all sorts of understanding, right? Prevent your clarity, prevent any kind of option for healing. So, hello, thank you. Instead, dig into the ways that your openness will invite that healing and invite clarity, both for you, and then funnel that into the reality of others, right? It's kind of double duty, but you have to allow it for yourself first. On Wednesday, the 25th, Mercury in Virgo will oppose Neptune. That Cancer moon is going to conjunct Mars, okay, and then trine Saturn, and then Mercury will trine Pluto, retrograding, by the way, in Capricorn still. All those places where you're still lacking clarity, right? Because we're looking for it pretty hard this week. Those places are all of the reasons to hold back from action on Wednesday. If you are unclear, please stop. If you don't have 100% certainty of what you're doing, stop, right? If you lack understanding, do not put anything into motion, because it will net you nothing but a series of misspoken words, misunderstandings, and stuff that you're either going to have to really backpedal for or suffer through the consequences of, okay? So, very especially on Wednesday, if you don't really get it, don't pursue it. Right? Just listen on Wednesday. You will do yourself all sorts of favors. On Thursday, the 26th, that Cancer moon will square Chiron. Mercury moves into Libra, okay? The Cancer moon will sextile Uranus, trine Neptune, oppose Pluto, and then the moon moves into Leo just around dinner time. And that Leo moon is going to sextile Mercury, newly minted in Libra. How exciting, right? So Mercury's movement into Libra is absolutely going to offer some perspective. And it's perspective that this week really kind of needs to widen that angle of intake, right? So clarity is offered finally, and it's going to come from depth, right? It won't be that superficial, oh, I see that. No, it will be, oh, I get it, okay? Now, that can create a lot of real transformation in the nature of relationships. You might feel downright magnanimous in the evening on Thursday. That's good, right? Express that. Express it. And specifically, express that in your relationships, okay? On Friday, the 27th, happy birthday to me on Friday, by the way. That Leo moon is going to sextile the sun, square Venus, and quincunx Saturn. So that Leo moon on Friday is really going to have you feel in all kinds of ways, right? Big ways. Here's the thing. Reel yourself back from being over the top, though, because it's not necessarily a stay in your lane day. It's absolutely a be mindful of your lane day, right? Kind of any veering off into uncharted territory might find you trying to unravel some unexpected and maybe even unwelcome consequences later. So just be mindful, be thoughtful, be intentional, for sure. On Saturday, that Leo moon is going to sextile Jupiter, trine Chiron, and square Uranus. Now, here's the deal. We have the sun, the south node, and Mercury at 4, 5, and 6 degrees of Libra, okay? So, under a Leo moon, we have the sun, north node, and Mercury creating this opening, right? Allowing you to be very observant of your patterning, of your surroundings, of your relationships, of yourself, right? Fascinating. So don't be surprised if on Saturday at some point you feel kind of like this Hulk-like need to flex, right? You know how the Hulk would turn into the Hulk and, you know, break apart whatever kind of things he was stuck in. So whether it's an old trigger or kind of a delving into a brand new pattern, remember that you are in control, not only of the change, but also how and what it ends up amplifying. So if that is the way that it rolls in for you, just pay attention. Pay attention to what it's bringing and what it's asking, right? On Sunday, that Leo moon is going to quincunx Neptune and Pluto, and then the moon will move into Virgo. The Virgo moon will sextile Venus, and then Mars in Cancer will trine Saturn. So here's the deal. If we want to play the Brady Bunch, right? It's not Marsha, but it's relationships, right? So it's not about what you did or what you've done, right? Your complete focus in the now is a requirement for your healing, the now, right? History does not inform the present unless you choose that in what you're doing now, right? So if you feel like launching a new pattern, you're under no obligation to pull in anything from one breath ago, you know? So especially in relationships, starting with yourself, right? And then extending outward to others. That is the way it goes. That is the only choice that you get to make. So again, do this very, very mindfully, right? Do it mindfully. Saying, oh, that's just how I am, or that's just how things are, is absolutely not an option if you're looking to level up, if you're looking to change your life, if you're looking to launch something new. You cannot claim the history or your past as a requirement, okay? And if you're really looking to level up that conscious state, you have to make sure that you're paying attention, whether this is a relationship or whether it's your relationship with yourself. They go hand in hand. And what you have to do is show up, right? You have to show up in that moment, every single moment, right? So some real keys to this week. We have a lot of Mercury involvement, right? This is about expression. Mercury's trine with Uranus and Venus at the beginning of the week, and then conjuncts the Sun and the North Node at the end of the week. So this is about relationships and how they begin with yourself, right? And remembering that change is your nature, and your expression is just the outward witnessable action of your internal choices, of your internal nature, of the internal dialogue you have and you keep with yourself. Look at that. We can turn it this way today. Alrighty. Okay, let's talk. On Monday, we've got the 5 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. Right? This is lots of fear of missing out. This is lots of required shifts and changes and endings, right? This is that feeling of insecurity. We talked about this as that strong content warning on Monday, really making sure that you are aware of where there are explosive potentials, where there are any possibilities of unraveling, right? And make sure that what you're doing is understanding that what's coming up and through is probably shocking, but it's showing you something, right? It's showing you where you need to move, where you need to let go of something that's creating this tendency to wallow, and even this feeling of being so down and out, hitting rock bottom, right? Remembering that this is just an idea. And the only way that you can experience these states is if you're willing to allow your ideas to shape your experience. So how can you deal with these seismic undercurrents? You can breathe. You can show up. You can respond. You can make choices about where you want to be, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Please pay attention to them on Monday. On Tuesday, you have the 7 of Pentacles and the Moon. So if you're looking for something in the way of return, growth, right, a blossoming, remember that there are cycles to everything. And if you close down, right, remember that the moon goes into Cancer in the morning. If you shut down, what happens is you don't get the nourishment. You don't get the opportunity to grow. So you have to be patient and you have to be open, right? The moon is indicative of our cycles, certainly, but the moon also goes through phases, right? And so the way that the moon asks you to be in phase is perhaps just to wait, right? We're not looking to prevent our clarity. We're not looking to prevent our healing. The way that we can do that is to be open. That way we're receptive, right? The moon is that beautiful feminine energy of receptivity. So the more you allow yourself to be patient, to be in that yin energy, the better off you'll be, right? Absolutely. Just invite your healing and then be willing to wait for it. On Wednesday, look at this, the Ace of Cups and the Star. Come on, these are beautiful cards, right? This is all about full cups and where you're going to pour that yumminess. We talked about this as a day to be certain that you have clarity before you move, right? Listen, right? Listen and ask questions. So the fact of the matter is, open your heart, keep that open heart, right? That moon is still in Cancer, and make sure that you're letting the universe answer beautifully for you, right? That Mercury in Virgo is going to oppose Neptune and trine Pluto. So those things that come up can offer you clarity as long as you're providing a stable place for them to lodge. So ask the right questions. Ask all the questions, in fact, and let the universe answer them, right? Absolutely. On Thursday, you have the Five of Swords, another 5, and then the Page, right? So we have a little bit of conflict and then some answers for those conflicts. This is the day that Mercury moves into Libra, right? So we're really widening our angle of intake. We have more information available. So here's the thing. How can you really witness what it is that you want to choose between the places where you're in conflict? And again, these are ideas, right? These are absolutely ideas. So are you going to use them for transformation? Are you going to use them to cut through the places where you're in conflict, right? Because you can do that, right? Five of Swords is conflict, it's argument, it's disagreement, but you have the capacity here to use these swords to cut through anything that's in your way. So if you can witness that brilliance, that potential for real clarity, by using the sharp edge of that sword of truth, I mean, go for it. What would you wait for? On Friday, listen, the Eight of Swords and the Tower. Okay, we talked about this as that day to not stay in your lane, but mind your lane, right? Making sure that we are in our game, right? Eight of Swords, we're talking again about these ideas here. So the Tower, right? A lot of people see the Tower as a challenging card. I personally love the Tower because it's one idea that blows your mind, right? It blows the lid right off your everything, and it upsets everything, giving you a new opportunity to create something more stable, right? That's all the Tower is. And here's the deal. You've got the Star up here. So you already have this rebuilding preloaded in your week. Eight of Swords are all the places where you're your own worst enemy, where you are your own limitation, where you're keeping yourself bound or stuck. So whatever's been going on for you, all those things that you've been figuring out, this on Friday gives you this brilliant opportunity to stay in your lane and mind your story, right? And not veer off into something uncharted, but to dive into your own, let's call it, the way that you want to create yourself, right? That moon sextiles the sun on Friday, really asking you, where are you stuck, right? Is there a place where you're stuck, or are you just going to show yourself? Anything that's in the way, it's unrequired, right? Stay in your lane versus mind your lane, right? We're going to mind our lane. It's not about staying anywhere. It's about being in your own story. Mind your lane and then move anything out of it that doesn't need to be there. right? On Saturday, we got the 3 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. We have so many 5s this week. That makes perfect sense. So again, where are you in your own way, right? Long-term planning versus this sense of posturing, this sense of blocking. And we talked about this as that day that the sun and the south node and Mercury are all together, really allowing you to witness your own patterns and your own show up, right, to relationships and your relationship with yourself. Don't be surprised again if you feel this need to blow things up. Well, here's the deal. Nobody here is actually taking action. They're just standing in the way of one another. In the 3 of Wands, we are allowing for motion. We're allowing ourselves to witness where that wave is going to come. And then we're prepared to move out with it instead of whatever nonsense this is, right? So make sure that instead of diving into this old pattern of blocking, I can't, I shouldn't do that, I mustn't do that, I learned that I shouldn't. Well, guess what? If there's an opportunity, you might want to run out and greet it. You're the one who's in control of where you stand, right? Whether your ground is ready to fight or ready to lead. You get to pick. On Sunday, the 29th, you have the 8 of Wands and the 2 of Cups. Lovely energy, right? Relationships, right? It is not about what you did or have done. Right? It's in the now. This is the center point of our motion. This is the center point of our presentation. And the way that you're going to choose that is based on what you're doing right now. The relationship first starts with yourself, and then it can flow out to someone else. But you have to be responsible for that inspiration first, right? And the only way that you can do that is to be mindful of what the divine is asking of you and the way that you're showing up to that. The fact of the matter is, we're not looking at your patterns as the reason for your movement. Absolutely not. We're looking for movement in the now. The now point, right, is 100% the key to this whole week. And your up-leveled consciousness is absolutely possible. And should you choose from the now point, actually probable. Refusing to step down simply means, again, we're going to stay in that now energy. We're not going to shift ourselves to jump down and help someone up. We're going to offer them a hand and then make it their responsibility to step up with you. Otherwise, then you have to climb back up too, right? It's like putting on the oxygen mask, your own oxygen mask first. You have to do that. You have, 15 seconds before you're unconscious in that low oxygen environment. So if you don't put your own mask on, you become incapable of helping anyone else, thus rendering every intention you have useless, right? Same thing here. You have straddling worlds, wandering between realms. I like this. Let's see what it has to add. Being comfortable in two states, wandering between realms, reinvention. Well, heck yeah. When the Straddling Worlds card shows up, it's an invitation to get used to living with one foot in the old world and one foot in the new. There's no going back to the way things once were, and what will be is not yet fully here. You must find the delicate balance that will bring you delight as you relish the past and all your memories, along with awe as you glimpse the astonishing and exciting future. Do not wait for applause. Move on quietly, humbly, invisibly to others. This card brings an invitation to begin not only the new chapter, but a new book. in your life, right? And we are definitely talking about that sort of relaunch. Do not break the news to anyone. Let people be as surprised as you are as you reinvent yourself, right? Listen, we talked about this. Not only do you have the North Node, the Sun and Mercury, governing the expression of self and the way that you're absolutely here to show up, but also that Uranus, Pluto, Mercury expression from the depths at the beginning of the week. So you have that all through this week, right? Make sure you're not just a slightly improved and more polished version of a dated and obsolete you. Absolutely. Birth yourself into someone original. Yes, please, Mr. Pluto. Do not feel like you have to explain yourself or be understood by anyone. Become a mystery, even to yourself. Absolutely. Gaze into a mirror one morning and be pleasantly surprised. Straddling Worlds invites you to become a true wizard, not one who performs magic tricks, but one who has mastered the dance between the visible and invisible worlds. You are new realms and new forms of formlessness. You are the birther of new ideas, of original and sustainable ways of being in the world. Well, absolutely. This, like I said, this week is about expression from the depths and the way that you get to recreate yourself in line with what you are truly here to be. And that's the first place, right? You have to get yourself right and then move it out into your relationships. If perhaps you've been struggling, maybe you've been trying to do it backwards. So maybe you're looking at a leveling up of a consciousness this week, or at least the shift from that external engagement, right? These fives here are really asking you to examine what you've been trying to create in the world, and then asked to gather it back to yourself, right? To yourself, to yourself, to yourself. Every time it has to be about you. You're the one. And until you're aware that you have one foot in both worlds, you don't understand how to find a balance, because you don't have a place to stand, right? You don't have a place to stand. Yeah, absolutely. And when you find that place to stand, you get to call in everything, not just a little bit, but everything. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, good luck this week. Like I said, it's a big week. So make sure that you're focusing on that you self, that finding that ringing true resonant expression within yourself, and then invite other people into that, right? Always the way to begin. At any rate, guys, take care, be super blessed, and I'll see you next time.